See the count. I see the timer going. I should see some. There we go. People leaving their menus.
All right, so we're bound to get a pretty standard start where they both go through Tycoon, get the few starting items. What is your guess for their starting job?
Yeah, we might as well take a guess. Well, they found Red Mage in a chest, but the starting job, I'll guess something like, Knight. What's Bard?
All right, well, that was going to be my guess, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
He checked a little earlier than we were expecting, so you got
exactly.
The advantage there. Bard is nice to have for the end, nice to have for a couple specific boss fights, but overall, not all that great. It's got good agility, but it's very squishy. Not much power, attack power. But I imagine, now the players will at least be on the lookout for some of those good songs.
Yeah, exactly, and maybe they can make use of that Apollo harp if they actually do find it in the sealed castle.
Yes, I have made use of it a few times. It often ends up being something that gets sold, but it has some value, again, for sort of certain fights. What tablet is in World 1? I'm going to try and write down these hints as our players find them. That one's not very specific. But it might mean that our players have 2 quick early tablets, as long as that tablet 4 is not gated. Pirate Cave, always a good spot to loot.
Classy taking a moment to mark down the location of the tablet in his notes.
That's something that I haven't really seen a lot of players take a lot of time to do, but it really is to your advantage to take some notes. Odin. At the Sildra spot. My gosh, that is a great thing to find. Now with either Summoner or even something like Conjure, you've got an amazing weapon.
Yeah, that definitely increases the value of Conjure if I see it in a shop.
Yeah, Conjure is one of those really good early game things when you don't have much, but you found a strong summon. And it's like, hey, I can just cast it as much as I want for free. All right, now Alastair's headed to Tool Town. The town of Tool. How should I say that?
It's as good as you can. Yes, Z-Mans, those tablets, the tablets and key items can only be at certain locations. They are locked behind certain checks, unlike jobs and items, which can be found in shops and in treasure chests. But they're usually all gated behind a boss.
Yeah, behind a boss, exactly. You gotta beat a boss to get the tablets, you gotta beat a boss to get the key items.
You got Dragoon.
Not one of my favorite jobs. Three of my non-favorite jobs so far to start the seed, but you'll take a free job. I mean, they didn't have to buy that one at least.
No, exactly. And they could make good use of that Holy Spear if they find it against X-Death.
Yeah, that's something that often will pop up in the sealed castle or something. So we'll see what's there when the time comes.
Yeah. That is when the sealed castle does not contain chain whips or elixirs.
Or ice bows, yes.
Or ice bows, as per the race seed that I happened to have yesterday.
Yep, every once in a while you get some real dud items there. Like I've seen like eye drop or shifting sands as a lost tower key. Okay. But we don't know anything about whether that Waltz Tower key is required yet. So again, it's a little bit of a vague hint. Brave Blade in the chest at Tool. We really want either knight or equipped swords now to use that Brave Blade, one of the strongest weapons in the game. Really nice find. Unfortunately, none of these jobs we currently have can use them. At least not yet.
All right, so
Alastair is headed to Surgate Castle. World 2 loot.
I'm gonna take a look at the. There's 3 items in that location, in addition to having various shops.
And a hint.
And a hint, more importantly.
A librarian hint. Some good consumables here that you always want to get, like maybe 10 of each. These maiden kisses and eye drops, just in case.
Sing in the shop to completely invalidate your bards. I have definitely grown a fan of the sing ability. The
I
hero
can tell
song
you
and
have.
speed
You
song.
use it more than most people, and I'm very glad to see that because it's a great ability, at least at the end, if not other places. Hello, Strizer.
Hey, Strizer, thanks for joining us. Please let me know if any of the audio levels need to be adjusted.
I'm trying to speak up so that I can be heard. Yesterday, I know I was a little quiet.
Alright, we're about to get the final hint. Or the final hint, sorry. The hint from Castle Circuit. Flying Lanka is on the path of the void. And we're also going to get another hint from Waltz Castle. Burning areas hold no keys.
That's an interesting one. Maybe we should talk about what burning means.
So burning, by my understanding, is that there are 2 locations. One is the Karnak's castle, as well as the Mua Forest. Both of which are considered burning locations, meaning neither of those contain any keys. However, it does not mean that Fork Tower is not necessarily required. So, just because the Mua Forest does not contain a key, it could still be required in order to complete Fork Tower.
Dragoon Lance for the Dragoon could be pretty nice. This is in Sealed Castle, I'm seeing now.
Flare Sword. A Phoenix down?
Phoenix down in the
They
castle.
win.
Womp, womp, womp. Ooh,
A chicken knife, though.
Pretty nice.
I would not turn that down.
What took white 6, I think. Hoping for some holy, I guess. Dragoon Lance, okay.
To go with their Dragoon.
And probably
the chicken knife, yeah.
Okay. Now, I don't think that this team... I mean, you actually can jump with the chicken knife. You could have 2 Dragoons, and that's one way to negate the run on the chicken knife. It's, you don't get double damage or anything, but the chicken knife has nice high damage anyway, so it's kind of like a nice spear in that case. If you do that, though, you're leaving your squishies on the ground while the other damage dealers are up in the air, so you might get some deaths in uneven sort of levels with the Dragoons hitting the wins. Oh, I see a Berserker too. I must have missed that getting picked up. The Rune Axe, which was in Sealed Castle, is not a terrible way to start if you have Berserker. But I think the other choices were better. So I can't...
There's Conjure.
There's Conjure, though. No, I don't think he bought it, did he?
No, you walking... Oh, yeah, there they go. He's changing
back.
his mind.
Yeah, I want that. Sell something, sell that Firebow, and buy Conjure, and all of a sudden, Odin's all over the place.
The rest of your game has been settled.
This makes Bard actually really good now, because Bard is fast, so Bard will go first, and Bard has decent magic stat as well, so he's going to be your Conjure Odin user.
Catapult is on the path. Okay. All right. So Catapult being the beginning check to eventually unlock the Lanka Meteor location.
Yep, it's pretty easy to get to the Catapult spot. You just have to go around the back way, sort of, to get there. But it's a relatively low hit point location, so it should be an easy win. Relatively easy win, 2,000 hit point location.
Classy picking up haste.
Always good to see haste.
Ooh, we got Break Blade showing up on Alastair's side. However, they chose not to purchase it.
I didn't see how much money they have, but it might be cash might be getting low, so it might be one of those things to note down for later. We'll pass on the path. Let's see here. That is the Boko access location in World 3, Tool Pass.
And we got the trench page in World 1 from the Ancient Library hint.
Oh, thank you. There's plenty to do here in World 1. I think that our runners are going to be pretty busy for a little while in this world.
Now they can go and try to get a lucky kill on onto one of the World 2 bosses with an Odin slash if they're lucky enough to have a non-heavy boss.
Yeah, and the chances of that are pretty decent actually, so it would not be a bad idea at all to fish for that, in my opinion. I think something like roughly 40% of the bosses in the game are not heavy, which is quite a high percent compared to most bosses that have such sort of vulnerabilities in JRPGs. Now, in the vanilla game, what tends to happen is the bosses that are heavy are more concentrated later in the game, and you don't necessarily have tools to take out non-heavy bosses early. But in the randomizer, all of a sudden, when you have, Conjure Odin, you have a tool to take out a lot of bosses in that way. So it could be quite a good thing.
Alright, looks like we're about to get the Mua pub hint. Wall's Kingdom is on the path to the void.
Okay, well that's your World 1 location. A early game location with 1,500 hit points, so it shouldn't be too hard to win that fight either.
So we currently have 3 locations in World 1 that are on the path to the void, which is unsurprising because they need to at least find the anti-barrier and the bracelet in World 1 and 2, so it's a pretty good distribution, but we know that they will have to go dive into World 3 at the very least, because Tool Pass being on the path to the Void.
Yeah, and you know, Tool
tablet.
Pass is kind of the ideal World 3 location because it's probably the fastest one to clear.
Correct, and it's open instantly.
As soon as you get access to World 3, that's right. Alastair reset out of this either or check. It was black 5 on one side. Let's see what it is on the other side here. My, he keeps talking to this guy. We don't want to talk to this guy. Check a chest here. Elf cape.
Get the elf cape on the other side.
Personally, I might have just stayed with black 5, and he reset again, so it looks like that's what he's gonna. Yes. Sorry, they reset, and that's what they're gonna do. I missed the Kelger hint. Did you happen to see, or maybe we already saw it earlier?
I believe we had already seen it through Alastair.
I didn't write that one down though. Darn it. Strizer, did you happen to see what the Kelger hint was from on Classy's side that he just checked? You might catch it right here. Alastair is now going into Kel.
Went back to the tapes. Oh, perfect.
Here it's coming up, so.
Steamship Key.
Steamship Key World 2.
Just at exactly the same time I pulled up the clip, so it's good timing.
Oh. The agility ability makes you as fast as a thief. Not bad to do that. I'll put that on somebody early if they've got nothing else happening. But it does take up an ability slot, so if you've got something better, probably don't need it. Alright, we're at 17.5 minutes. No one has taken a fight yet, but I expect that we'll be seeing one pretty soon. It's always a tough trade-off. You know, I personally like to get lots of info early. That way I never am at a loss of where to go and what to check. But I also try to be sort of efficient, and I don't like to visit towns more times than I have to.
Yeah, it is difficult trying to convince yourself not to go and collect all of the hints immediately, as they're basically all available right off the get-go. But like you said, it does take a long time, and if you don't have any funds to do any shopping in those places, that would just, like you said, mean you'd have to return to those locations and just waste more time.
Yep.
So you're better off to loop it in with some checks at the same time.
I just want to mention that Alastair is at the Wind Shrine and about to fight the first boss.
And we've got
no,
Titan.
You hate to see it.
That is devastating. I can only see one way around it. Exactly. Oh, they're gonna
use your conjure.
Using the love song to
does work
put him on
briefly.
stop.
This worked. I think it was not close enough. It has to be right afterwards. But you know what? I think with a second attempt, with the timing, it is possible to get a win while he's stopped and negate the Deathquake.
That is an incredibly rude boss.
Yeah, that is.
They picked up the
you
rune
do not
axe.
want to see Titan at the Wind Shrine.
Did they pick up the rune axe?
Well, I think the rune axe animation
Berserker.
played, but I'm not sure if. Oh, he did. Okay,
Yeah.
Classy did pick up the rune axe, which is fine. I didn't catch the other. I think white 6 I saw, which is actually, you know what? If you put the white ability on your Berserker, that boosts their magic stat really high, and the Rune Axe actually does extra damage with a higher magic stat. So that's a way to boost Rune Axe damage.
Oh. It
But
looks
I
like
don't know if
they've opted to go two-handed.
Yeah, that Ogre Axe is actually really bad, so I don't love that idea. But a lot of people don't know about the half the Rune Axe's damage coming from the magic stat, so I'm not surprised that Classy isn't doing it.
One thing I am surprised to see, well, as first of all, Alastair fighting off Liquid Flame on the boat.
Abandoned the Titan fight, which you can't really blame him.
No.
You know, we figured out a way that you could possibly win, but it's difficult to execute.
Correct. But I did notice that ClassyBadger is actually still level 1, meaning he hasn't encountered the goblin fight in
and so
Tool.
that means no Brave Blade also, right?
I believe so.
Brave Blade was the goblin chest, since it's such a high-tier item. So he may have skipped that, forgot about it, or is planning on going there later. We'll have to see. He's about to get the Rude Awakening of Titan. See how he handles it. Jump, jump. Okay, there's someone in the air. Now you need to get another hit in before it comes down. Go, Lena, go. Oh, I don't think that's
not enough
damage. No, not gonna work out here. Very rude, Titan. Very rude. It's practically the worst boss that you could get early on, just because it's so hard to stop him and get the kill. Like, there's not really too many ways to do it. Although that love song attempt by Alastair was a really great idea. Just doesn't last very long because he's heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult to time with a jump. It's hard to tell when they're going to come back. Though Alastair taking a rest in the beds in the boat, which I only recently learned from you that. Yep, in fact, after finishing the boat fight, you are already at full health, so there's no point to having a rest.
Yeah, there's actually 2 places to rest in the graveyard, but that's just vanilla stuff in case you're struggling. And it even comes from vanilla that your health and MP are full when you enter the graveyard, because there's like this cutscene in vanilla where you're just drifting in the canal area. And so I guess your characters are just laying there sleeping on the boat while they're drifting, and eventually they drift into the ship graveyard, so they're refreshed and ready to go when they arrive. And that gets cut out, of course. The cutscene gets removed by the randomizer, so you wouldn't really know unless you checked right away.
Right. We ended up only getting a partisan from the ship graveyard, so nothing of interest there. I think at this point they're just trying to build up experience so they can tackle on the Walls Kingdom and see what that has to give.
I didn't happen to see if anything was given from winning the canal fight with Liquid Flame. That was not
it was
key
dancing.
Item, was it?
It was dancing daggers.
Okay.
So nothing of interest. Oh.
Looks like Classy reset, and he's going to have to do the fight again because he didn't save or something. I missed it, but it was in the... He might have hit the warp shard by accident or something. I'm not sure.
What if they wouldn't have required a reload? He probably should have kept his levels. I did miss what happened there.
Yeah, well... Hopefully this will be just another quick win like before. Berserker hit hard. There you go. True Edge now. Was that I assume that was a conjure.
That was.
Great use of conjure. Non-heavy enemy.
At least in 2 out of 3 phases.
Yeah, exactly. Don't even bother fighting any of the other phases when you can just kill the first one. Chemist Crystal is on North Mountain. Alastair has a chance to start learning Nyx on someone. Not a bad idea.
Now, do you try to learn Nyx right away as soon as you get it, or do you wait until later in the game to see if you happen to come across it in one of your treasures? I tend to
really depends on my team.
Wait.
With this team being bad anyway, I don't think Chemist hurts you that much. You've got Conjure, so like, why not just get some free ability points here? Like, I don't think it's more important, say, to get ability points on Bard or Red Mage than it is Chemist, so you might as well have one in the party here.
That's
now,
a fair point.
Do both players have Conjure? Is the question. Fire 3 should be enough.
I don't recall. I don't recall Alastair purchasing it.
I think Alastair might not have it, but Fire 3 is doing a great job. From Black 5, which was a more village reward. And I don't know where exactly Fire 3 was found, but it's very useful.
We just obtained the trench page from North Mountain.
Excellent. It was mentioned that it was in World 1, so that might be on the Path of the Void. We don't know for sure.
All right. I'll start heading over towards Waltz. We're going to be getting a peek at what that item is after a short rest to get rid of Lena's nasty poison.
Right. Always going up North Mountain. Lena will be poisoned in that Magisa location fight.
And once
and then again when she fights Magisa, wherever she is. Interesting how the game codes it to both the location and the boss.
Correct.
And Badger is going the same way that Alastair did as well. So also picking up Chemist, but not really doing anything with it. Well, let's see. Maybe thinking about doing something with it.
Oh. Okay. Quickly realizing that Rune Axe is significantly stronger than Ogre Axe.
You know, the Ogre Axe, I think, is... There's a Dwarf Axe in Final Fantasy IV, which does bonus damage to giants or something like that. He may have gotten a little bit confused thinking that it was like an effective damage weapon, but I'm pretty sure the Ogre Axe in Final Fantasy V is piece of junk. Like, it's really bad. Doesn't do any sort of bonus damage to anything.
Classy accidentally walking over one of the plants, poisoning his entire party. However, does not have any tents to actually rest.
That
may
hurts.
Come to this battle with quite low health, but hopefully we're going to see some Odin on Odin violence, which should take care of it.
I defeat Odin with my own Odin.
This is it. My one weakness,
That's
myself.
It, all right.
Got Requiem and the Trench. Requiem
don't
song.
See much use of Requiem, but it's pretty nice.
It deals damage to undead. Is that correct?
Yeah, and it's AoE, so if there's more than one undead on screen, it hits them all, and it costs no MP, so
and it can't miss.
That's right.
So,
and you know what else it does, which is almost pointless, but it inflicts HP leak.
I did not know
No
that.
idea why, but it does. So you get a little extra there beyond what's displayed on screen for your damage.
That is good to know. So I suppose it could have some use against the on the battle for Golem against the two undead enemies.
Sure.
fighting
And
him.
in the trench pigs, the triplets, they're
The
all
triplets.
undead also. Yeah, you can do damage nice and evenly to them. They have equal hit points, so it's helpful for that too.
So the runners aren't far behind each other. In the
They're
same
doing
location.
a lot of similar early World 1 checks.
And speaking of triplets,
yeah, here they are. And now, was it Alastair that got Requiem? I think it was Classy, wasn't it, that got Requiem?
they both did
Just a
because they got it
second
from
ago.
North
Oh, they
Mountain.
both do. Here we go. About to see Requiem in action, one-shotting these triplets, I bet.
Fantastic. Just validating everything we were just discussing.
And it's happening again, looking for a true edge here. This is not a guaranteed victory. Oh no, the true edge user dies.
Oh, that's alright, we had another one. Oh, didn't feel like edging this time.
Yeah, that's a bit of an RNG roll, and it does check against enemy level as well. Let's go, Zerker. Come on. Oh, too slow. Zerker, too slow. Might have to just reset and try again on Classy's side. We'll see.
We'll get another Conjure. Oh, looks like we're going to get a reset.
Yeah, I mean, just maybe because levels are nice to have. I mean, it could have worked out with another try, but I think that Badger knows that this can work. Just wants to a little bit better luck.
So Berserker was in a shop, as Alastair is looking at it right now. So this was a purchase made. We'll see if they're gonna see Conjure for sale in the next vendor. There it is.
Yeah, there's definitely some consideration being given to it.
Oh, passing up on it. Or
doesn't look like it. Yeah, not sure. I don't think Alastair bought it. It's hard to tell sometimes when somebody buys something. I guess maybe because I have game audio muted, I also can't hear.
Well, currently we're on ClassyBadger's stream audio.
Okay.
Anyway, so we wouldn't have heard it, but I don't believe that I don't believe Alastair purchased it. Dark Shock, Blue Magic, and Adamantite.
Adamantite, which is required.
Correct. So the Waltz Kingdom was on the Path to the Void, leading us to Flying Lanka Ruins, which we knew already was on the Path to the Void. Unfortunately, kind of doubling down on those hints.
Yep, but you know, we also knew that the Waltz Castle was on the path. I believe that Waltz Kingdom was the hint. So
correct.
On our runners on going to that place right away. Yeah, so it's a little bit of an overlap in the hints, but that's to be expected. They're not always going to be, you know, easy and perfect, that's for sure. Alastair is heading to the catapult location, which we also know is required. I'm going to check some chests and take a nap first.
Why not? The beds are laid out. There's nice flowers all around.
Oh, I hope we're not going to do the runaround here. Down at the switch. There you go. Say no.
Yeah, definitely an accidental press. I've definitely done that before. I did it just literally yesterday.
Oh, I didn't even notice when you did it yesterday.
I speed run my mistakes as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, usually you can just kind of mash your way out of a misclick like that. Okay, about to get into the catapult fight, and ClassyBadger is headed back for more Titan battles. Siren, be a pretty easy one. Oh, but you're not gonna beat Titan that way.
No.
In this Deathquake. You know, Siren has a pretty high magic defense. This might, if you've got a couple fire threes, you need to do 2,000 damage.
There we go.
1,500 there. Must have had a fire rod or something on mana, or maybe chemist's magic stat is that bad.
They do have a fire rod. As they used it earlier. I would like an update on the race going on. It was going quite fast right now on Random Mania. On Random Mania 2, there's a current race.
Oh, we've got someone who jumped and lived against Titan's
Fantastic.
Deathquakes. Ooh, and a gold hairpin. It's just a nice reward.
Definitely a nice find.
I believe Alastair just bought Hunter. And that, I would say, is, one of the better, at least early game jobs. So I'm in favor of that. Another gold hairpin. That's 2 gold hairpins in the Wind Shrine for all of your MP cutting needs. Also some other good stuff like Summon 3, which allows you to cast Golem and Shoat, 2 of the better summons in the randomizer. Wind Fox is very happy to see Hunter on Alastair's screen because that's his favorite job. I haven't seen any super great bows or anything early though.
Well, hopefully they'll unlock the Berserk ability and have berserking hunters just for Windfox. Ooh, Minotauros.
1500 hit point Minotauros. You can conjure against him.
You can definitely conjure.
Even though magic is not allowed, conjure's not magic. It's its own thing. I guess because it doesn't use any MP, it's not considered magic. Anyway, that would be a good one strategy that one could use. Ooh. Maybe Badger will think about that for his second attempt. Yeah.
Oh, opting to try a different location instead. We're going to do the Tycoon Meteor.
Okay, this one has a little bit more hit points, but maybe it will be a little bit easier boss. Meanwhile, Alastair is checking some freebies at the Chocobo Forest and also checking Crescent Town shops. Ooh.
Early Stalker.
I don't like to see Stalker.
But it's a good find to make early on, though a Mind Blast will instantly destroy you.
Yes, let's see. Can you do 2000 with Heavy Spear? No.
No.
So it's going to take another strong hit. Unfortunately, Berserker did not pick the right target. We're kind of flailing blindly here, hoping to hit one more time against the right target here and finish off Stalker. Unfortunately, that one missed, and so did Berserker.
And that means the jump will also miss. It is the top target.
And you've got a number of targets that you can't control. It's really sort of frustrating to see them keep attacking the wrong targets. At least the Dragoon can try to attack one of the spots that hasn't been attacked yet. On the other side, Alastair going for a Leviathan. Leviathan is a dragon, so that Dragoon Spear does great damage, but this spot has a lot of hit points, and Leviathan can be pretty tough, unless at such a low level.
Oof. Oh, unfortunately. Oh, there we go.
Is that enough? Oh,
the Berserker found his target.
Stalker, as long as it behaves itself and actually dies rather than getting in extras. Okay, there we go. A win over Stalker is a great win to get, no matter how you get it.
That is going to be a lot of levels on butts only.
Big boy butts.
Hear you call.
Okay. don't really recall any mention of that in our hints, but you never know. It could become an important check later. At this point, maybe the Berserker can survive the Deathquake, so maybe Classy's going to head to Wind Shrine and give it yet another try. You want about 500 hit points to live against Titan. Meanwhile, Alastair is also going after Stalker. Fire 3, ooh. Somebody must have already attacked, since that one didn't do any damage. Searching for the right one. Oh, much smoother fight for Alastair. Multiple people who can cast Fire 3 is very helpful. And Stalker should be gone very soon.
Mm-hmm. Alright, we're giving it a second attempt at the Waltz Meteor.
I think Badger will get this second time. Oh, it's actually must be a different meteor than I thought, because this is Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah. It must have been the Titan one then.
Right.
Oh wait, no, this was the
Karnak
Titan one. This was the Karnak meteor.
Okay then. That's a little bit higher hit points, but when it's a Tyrannosaurus, it's just
The pyramid page.
Okay. Yes, it was Karnak meteor. That makes sense. So, seems like Badger has, at least for now, abandoned the idea of doing Waltz meteor altogether, and he's just doing other checks, which is fine. I don't think that Waltz meteor. I don't think we have any hints directing us there. I just like to do it myself kind of early because it's quick and has low hit points.
Oh, definitely. I think he was just a little unlucky about the attacks. But Alastair, okay, heading up to the Flying Lonko ruin once more.
This is attempt 2 against Leviathan, who has just got quite a bit of hit points in this location. I want to say, let me look it up to be sure.
So we got the chicken.
12,500 points, hit points.
We got a chicken dance going on right now. So the chicken knife paired with the dance ability on the top hunter.
Interesting. That's not going to pay off very often, but if it does, you might only need a couple of those, and you're in good shape in terms of damage. Now, Leviathan probably isn't going to do anything too crazy like tidal waves or anything here. Instead, what he does, though, is Aqua Rake, and that is enough to hurt quite a bit on its own anyways.
Apologize to everybody who heard a Windows sound. That's Windows doing whatever it wants.
Oh, Windows. So, Alastair was not able to take down Titan, but ClassyBadger does take down the Siren with the Shrine page. We know that that is on the path, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Catapult's on the path, Shrine page on the path as well. I don't love to go to the Shrine, but yeah, it's got some decent loot and things, so at least you know somewhere. Now we know at least 2 places where we have to go in World 3 now. Okay, here we go again. Titan. Rematch. Actually, this is Alastair's rematch with Titan. I think we've seen Badger try Titan at least twice. A sword dance? That's big.
Badger did end up succeeding at the end, and was rewarded with a gold hairpin.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did it with by having a dragoon in the air. Okay, I remember.
Yes.
Him. So now both players have beaten Wind Shrine and are getting those gold pins and other crystal shard rewards. Very nice. And Badger also chops down Catastrophe, which I assume was at the Lanka meteor.
Correct. It's a Lilith Rod for his troubles.
Lilith Rod is not great. It's kind of secondary to the Elemental Rods and the Wizard Rods, but it does give you a nice +3 to magic. So it's not terrible. It actually gives more magic than any other rod in the game, but that's not really saying much. It gives like 1 more magic, or maybe 2 more magic than.
All right, Badger making his way up to Flying Lanka and be greeted with a giant sea serpent.
Yes, seems like our racers are both running into this wall of Leviathan here. But I like the conjure strats, you know. There is a chance that Leviathan will counter with Entangle, but that's a lot better than his magical counter, which is probably Aqua Ray in this location. We'd much rather see a little bit of paralysis for a little while, rather than your team basically getting nearly wiped by Aqua Ray. 12,500 hit points, though, is pretty rough here.
Yeah, Leviathan probably nearing the end of his life, however. With a pretty solid jump and a few conjures.
Yeah, a little bit of bad luck on all these entangles. I mean, I think it's only like a 1 in 3 chance to counter with entangle. And Conjure does draw that because, as Windfox said in the chat, it's called an attack. Oh, victory! Really nice, and a free wall ring, and the 4th tablet.
And there's the 4th tablet for ClassyBadger.
So that's 3 more items out of 3 more things, I should say, out of Kuza, if Badger wants them. And he's continuing into the Lanka Ruins. Might as well finish it off and get some rewards along the way, or at the end, or both.
I've started orphaning one of the chests just on account that it's like a 20 to 30 seconds detour just to go and get it.
Absolutely. I mostly just go for that room of 5 and anything that's on the way.
Mm-hmm.
But no detours from the fastest way through is a good... Like, right here, you could grab this one, Darkness Bow, and then you go to the right. Badger's missing out on these chests. We'll see if he turns around or doesn't bother with them. He might be accidentally going past them, but it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Shout for Alastair is a really nice find. Always a fan of that. That was what was that waltz?
Those waltz.
Okay, so the boss fight in Lanka Ruins only has 8,000 hit points. The fight to get in is actually higher points than.
Ooh, Necrophobia.
Ooh, this could be a tough one. I think he can handle it though. I mean, Conjure Odin is that strong. Now it might actually target Necrophobia himself and do nothing from time to time. But even despite that, the little patience and persistence, this should work out.
Yeah, the barriers seem to be doing low enough damage at this level. But there shouldn't be too
Yeah,
much
they don't
stress.
really do too much, especially if you can get rid of them sort of early. They can ramp up their attacks if the fight drags on, but imagine within a few rounds, most of them should be gone.
Alright, Odin doing the rounds, attacking each of the barriers once each.
I don't want to jinx it. Okay, I just did somehow. I was gonna say, at least he had hit the barriers every time, and then of course immediately hit Necrophobia and did nothing. Yeah, but this is still looking good. Necrophobia himself is a little bit scarier because he's going to have the full, I think he's going to have the full 8,000 hit points. But at that point, spamming Odin and you're doing 2,500 or more just from Odin's each round. So just if you can stay upright.
They've started spamming the level 2 spells.
No wonder some people went down. Okay, that makes things a little bit scarier.
And on their side, Alastair clearing off the meteors, which we've already been through. Yeah, Odin, focus, please. It's a coin flip.
Sword dance victory over Tyrannosaurus. You don't expect to see that very often.
I did fail to notice whether or not they had a tiara to help them. But Necrophobia showing us his true power.
Unfortunately, he's probably going to blind the Zerker, and this is going to be mostly up to Galif's Conjures to win, and his Necro's hits are really strong, so... Oh my. Oh. Okay, he had much less hit points than I expected, for whatever reason.
I guess they are divided equally between
that might be like a 1.0 thing. It's possible that Necrophobe was made a little bit easier by just giving him whatever hit points are
the
remaining.
Moogle suit.
Ooh, a Moogle suit. That's
that is
always
a nice find.
It's time to go get that right away, I would say.
Alright, so Alastair giving Leviathan another shot.
Because, I mean, the Moogle suit has a chance to open up some really, really strong stuff for you. Wizard Rod, probably the only good reward there from the Crystal Shards. Oh, victory over Leviathan that went pretty smoothly.
And rewarded for with the 4th tablet. As we knew.
Excellent. So both of our racers have tablets, and Alastair is now also going through to try and beat Necrophobia and get the Moogle suit.
Badger doing the Castle Circuit shopping, or a bit of a rest, rather.
Maybe both. We'll see.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
But I do think that it is the play to check that Moogle suit right away, just because the chance of something amazing there is very high. In fact, multiple amazing things.
Yeah, generally, all seven pieces of gear there are all fairly interesting.
Welcome from Randomania 3, which was hosting another Final Fantasy V Career Day randomizer race. Thanks for stopping by. We are in the middle of our own race here. Still relatively early, approaching the 1 hour mark. Both runners with 2 tablets and good hints and semi-decent jobs.
They could certainly use a bit more power on their side, but they've been working pretty well with what they've got. The think the biggest asset right now on ClassyBadger's side is the Conjure Odin combination, which Alastair has the Odin Esper. However, they do not have they did not purchase the Conjure ability from the shop in Karnak.
Alastair has been relying on Fire 3, and that will be great against Necrophobia, but getting these barriers down, since they have wall that you can't remove, can be a little bit tricky. We'll see how it goes. Ooh, this is a great time for Conjure Odin on Badger's side.
As long as they survive that long. There we go.
Oh, made it. Nice roll there. Thank you, True Edge.
With a nice big chunk of experience, it's going to be a good boost of power for ClassyBadger. And rewarded with the anti-barrier.
That is hard required in all of our race seeds. And that's something that our tracker can click on now for ClassyBadger. The anti-barrier is to the far right. There we go.
And there it is.
Now, did we know? I don't recall seeing a Val Castle Path of the Void hint, so I think that one was just sort of a nice find.
I believe it is just a freebie.
Oh, good choice. You might as well do that check when you can in World 2 because it's quick and easy and low hit points. So it's good payoff there.
It's only about 2,500 hit points at that location. It's fairly an easy get, especially after they've gotten a few levels in their World 1 adventures.
This Comet is doing pretty good work against the barriers. Nice non-reflectable spell to get those guys out of the way. And I'm pretty sure now that Alastair is just going to open up with Fire 3 once Necro speaks. And it should be over very quickly. Doesn't have black equipped, so he's going to have to go with Ice 2 instead of Fire 3. Oh, a nice sword dance will make. Can't complain about that.
Solid damage from that sword dance.
The Hunter job cannot wear the tiara, so I don't think that there's any sword dance boosting happening. But
it's just
it's
very
nice
lucky.
To have some good luck.
Rewarded
and that
with the Moogle suit,
which on ClassyBadger's side, I don't think we've seen him cash that in yet. I would be cashing that in immediately. See what Alastair does with the Moogle suit. Magic Sword 5 is a nice find in Hiryu Valley for ClassyBadger.
Mm-hmm. Especially since the Bright Blade is available for sale in one of the shops.
That's right. I seem to recall seeing that in one of the World 2 shops.
I have to really hold myself back to not hum along to the music in this game. I love all of the music from Final Fantasy V.
White Mage job, that could come in handy. It's one of the best sort of utility jobs in the game, I would say. You may or may not want to roll with it all the time, but at least some of the time it can be really, really good.
Alright.
And I agree with you about the music. Luckily or unluckily for me, I have no music in my ears, so I can't come along, but that's okay. Atmos with like probably 11,000 or so hit points. Yeah, 12,000 hit points. It's not too bad. Lena can just lay on the ground while other people attack.
Yeah, the other three will definitely take care of it.
Alastair takes out Catastrophe, which I believe ClassyBadger did earlier, so they're sort of even on that one. Although we know that it doesn't give anything except that Lilith Rod.
Well, we had a Bard start Garlisle, which they promptly replaced with... They found Red Mage instantly at the beginning. And as well as Dragoon.
Early too. Yeah. And the Dragoon Spear was pretty early. I think it was in the Sealed Castle.
He was in the Sealed Castle. So we've got some decently equipped Dragoons.
Time to check the Moogles.
All right.
Village.
And only a Guardian.
Nothing at all at the Hiryu Valley location, though. No reward there. Which is unfortunate. Ooh, X Magic.
There you go.
Red
No
Mage,
longer.
You are completely obsolete.
Going back for the suit. Getting a second suit on top of their Moogle suit. Giltoss, Samurai. That was, what was it, Black 6, I think? And Mimic Crystal. Lots of good stuff.
And X-Fight, if you missed that, X-Fight is there too.
They have, basically they have their endgame now. They've got their Giltoss as Mimic and the potential to learn Mix.
Right, I'm not... Do both racers have Chemist? At least one of them does.
I believe... yes, they both do. It was the reward for North... no, it was in the chest in North Mountain. They both do.
Yes, you're right. Yep, so, and they both did that, so...
Oh, and ClassyBadger now going to the Moogles.
So, all kinds of good stuff. X-Fight plus Chicken Knife on Hunter is a great source of damage output.
Did I?
And
okay, no, they got the other chest
Hunter,
first.
so you can do Samurai or something instead.
8 out of 10 Moogle Hut. Giltoss cancel Samurai. That's fair. I think in my race seed yesterday...
at the end and Giltoss without Samurai, so it saves you the time of learning it on the Samurai job, if that's something that you care about. So I don't mind it too much, but you're right, I might have preferred something else instead.
Perhaps, ClassyBadger going for some more Moogle action.
And
chasing
I believe
them down.
Alastair also went here just before, so they're both sort of doing the nearby easy check. Let's see what the Moogle Waterway gives.
The bracelet.
Required, wow.
Ooh. ClassyBadger will be ready to go up the tower after getting this location, and I'm sure Alastair will be following him very shortly.
I wrote down that the Antiberry was at the Bal Castle entrance.
Yep.
So and look at this. That's exactly where Alastair is going. Do your easy open world 2 check, right? I mean, it's kind of the obvious place to go.
Exactly.
So I'm sure they'll be happy when this pans out. Now we got to make sure, of course, that we can beat these Crystal Guardians here, but I feel like there's a pretty good chance of it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Alastair not having access to Odin will make this fight a little longer, but as with most problems in life, you can throw money at it.
There you go. Not a bad time to use Giltoss. It makes the fight over very quickly.
Chemist mastered on Ferris, so looks like...
Wow, Master Chemist. It might be time to buy another job and work on something else. Oh, it looks like they've got maybe a few other decent jobs. They do have hunters.
Hesitating, going with Samurai.
Yep, I can't fault that either. Classy getting more things from Kuza Castle. Let's see what he's gonna get. Chicken knife. I think that's a yes. Yep, he's grabbing that. We know that he has X-Fight. Aren't you Phoenix Down? Flare sword magic.
Definitely not enticed by the Phoenix Downs, surprisingly. Do enjoy Big Guard, however.
Is going to be great at some point. You might want it for the X-Death fight with Sage Staff.
I'd probably take the Sage Staff.
Yeah, I think this is sort of like, you know, take something strong and hope that you'll be able to use it soon. Was Black 6 something that was in Moogle Village? I almost think it was. So you could take the Flare spell. Flare sword magic taken. I don't think we can use that quite yet, but maybe soon. Alright, I'm now talking about Alastair's side since they're...
Oh, sorry.
Both of the runners have been doing sort of the same things, a lot of the same things. So they're in some of the same places at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
The seed has been pretty straightforward so far, I would say. There hasn't been any reason to really do anything too crazy, deviate too much.
Nothing at these vendors as predicted, since they've already visited the magic vendors in World 2, and they all the magic vendors are shared, except the ones in Mua or more.
I see an Aegis shield for sale in Rugor, but I do not think that ClassyBadger bought any. Hopefully, though, is something to note for the future, because it's a great thing to have.
That is definitely something you want. Now, if you're running mix, it's not as big of a deal, but it's so cheap to buy 4 of those. It comes up to like less than 20,000.
Yeah, they cost 4,500 each, and that's worth it. So amazing because it's such a great shield, whereas like if you were to try and buy like a flame shield or something, it would probably cost you 20,000.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how much they cost, or maybe even more. Maybe they sell for 20,000.
Yeah, there it is. It's 40,000.
It's like, nope, not gonna buy that shield.
Yep.
I think, gosh, the Aegis shield is actually like a reasonable price, and it's a great shield. All right, so the basement fight, Archaeoavis goes down for Alastair. That X-Fight chicken knife damage is really nice. And ClassyBadger's also headed now to X-Death's Castle, so right on his tail. I like a strength suit. That's a nice piece of armor for any sort of physical attacker class.
Looking at which bows they could have equipped on Lena. Don't really have any good bow options, to be honest.
Yeah, I actually am a fan of putting the chicken knife with X-Fight on your hunter rather than samurai, but it's because the hunter is a faster job and they have decent agility and strength, so the chicken knife does good damage, but it's not really that big of a difference. Either way, you're going to have a pretty strong attack and good damage. You'll just get a little bit more damage output over time using Hunter, I think.
Yeah, that's something that I'm still working on myself as well. Just making sure that the equipment is in the best locations. Is on my best people. Yesterday, I had the chicken knife equipped on my freelancer when I probably should have given it to my X-fighting knight. So never do the runaway, and given the brave blade to the freelancer. But those are things that only experience can cure.
Yeah, and it doesn't make a huge difference. I mean, if your team is strong, you're probably going to win the fight anyway. If your borderline is kind of where it really matters. If it's a tight squeeze to win the fight, you could get a little bit unlucky and lose if you're not optimal. But, you know, Doom Black Magic, I really like that because there's a number of bosses that you can doom in this game. And I believe that Alastair has, Black 6 from Mugen.
They're gonna make. Ooh,
we're
gonna get some
of the
DLC.
Forward. You don't see that roulette room mistake too often.
Seeing X fights on both sides of the screen right now.
Might as well go with it, huh? Looks like Classy is using Mimic already. I don't love the idea of Mimic too early, but you know, for all I know, maybe he mastered Berserker already or something on Butts, so he's at least got some power. And good hit points, right? Because look at all those hit points on Mimic. He must have mastered Berserker.
Yeah, Mimic, as some may know, is a class that that gets stronger per each job that you've mastered. You gain all the traits, all of the passive traits of each job that you've mastered.
And the stats of them as well, as long as they're sort of like, it takes the highest stat from whatever jobs that you've mastered and combines them into the ultimate statted job along with Freelancer.
So while it's got all those stats, he has all the control of the Mimic, which is, you know, still not full control, but significantly better than the Berserker.
Yeah. Okay, so we're about to see a save and probably a check of the Carbuncle location fight. Go. Alastair is a little bit in the lead. If he falters in any of these boss fights for whatever reason, ClassyBadger has a chance to take the lead. See what happens.
Oh, and they've come up against Gilgamesh 2. Probably the more annoying of all the Gilgamesh, as he'll end up casting bunch of buffs on himself after losing a certain amount of hit points and then start jumping on your team.
Yep. He's got some interesting moves, that's for sure. But I think that at this location, it's only 15,000 hit points. The unlucky Goblin Punch, where Arts must have been also level 28, and it did 8x damage. You don't see that happen too often. Just so happened to be the exact same level as Gilgamesh 2. Yeah, I think it had to have been to do that kind of damage.
I didn't realize that was a feature of Goblin Punch.
Yeah, that's how it works. It just does your regular attack, uses your regular attack value if it's not the same level, but if you are the exact same level as your target, then it does 8 times damage. Goblin Smash, indeed.
Alright, Badger opting to ignore the chests on the sides.
You know, I usually go for them, but you know what? Totally viable. I've been seeing a lot of Dancer gear in Exdeath's Castle, so if the Dance ability or the Dancer job is found, there's a chance for some chicken dances if either of our players wants to take that route. Ooh, yeah,
Kagalis brings up a good
Miss
point.
Doom. You're right. It was in the roulette room chest or near there.
They got Carbuncle from the Carbuncle location.
Wow, a vanilla reward. Surprising. Oh, it was that side hidden passage chest. Is that what you're saying, Kig? That's where Doom was located.
Oh, the lava wall chest. They didn't walk over the lava. Oh, that's an unfortunate beginning of this battle.
I'm just sort of assuming that our players have tents or cabins or something, but maybe Classy is short on those things and he's a little concerned about those damage tiles or something. And so he's skipping some of the side chests here in the castle. Myself, I like to pretty much full loot this castle. Some pretty good rewards in here. And at the Gilgamesh 4 location, we have Magisa, who should not be too much of a problem. Try dooming her? I don't think that works. It'd be better to conjure Odin again.
Unfortunately, Alastair does not have Conjure Odin.
Removed it? Okay.
Well, they never bought Conjure.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. It was only ClassyBadger that had Conjure. Okay.
So we do have both runners doing fairly like individual. Well, now with the X attack, they've started depending on that a lot more. But Alastair depending a lot more on magic initially when ClassyBadger was using the Conjure Odin.
Yeah, this could actually be a chance for Classy to catch up. If he's got Conjure Odin ready for Magisa, he could have a quicker fight here and catch up a little bit.
Looks like they're resetting.
Yeah, they might be.
I wonder if they have no tents.
Might be short on some resource. Yeah, like a tent or something. Yeah. Oh, going back for some stuff. Well, no, that was stuff that he got before. Maybe he just wants to have better success in the fight with more people standing up, but it's pretty scary when you have to try and clear this castle with low hit points. So nice to take the time to find the shop that has tents so that you can heal as you go.
Oh. They, ClassyBadger didn't want to lose. Yeah, ClassyBadger didn't want to lose Odin on his Conjure.
Okay.
That must
and
be
he
it.
Just got Carbuncle,
Carbuncle.
so he didn't want to see that popping up. All right, interesting.
That's what I suspect, anyways.
That could very well be it. I saw some Kevins, so he's not completely
Did you
without
slow
them.
down Submarine Key from the Magisa fight?
Now, do we have Conjure on Gallop? So you can use what you just reset for. Yes, we do. We have it on Lineage.
Fantastic. So with that, they're going to be right behind each other.
Yes. Now, in the back of his mind, well, ClassyBadger already knows the reward, so he's not too concerned about missing the Carbuncle spot other than experience lost.
Mm-hmm.
His level is decent. They're both at similar levels. And okay, Alastair's the first one into the X-Steps fight. Let's see what the plan is here. Speed Song.
Ooh, almost warp sharded right out of there.
And that's always scary.
Call that the Malcreo special.
I've seen other people do it, and I've done it myself. So I think it kind of happens to anyone when their mind wanders just a little bit. It's an easy misclick to do.
Alright, so we've got some flare casts being done.
X-Fight is going to be the big winner here. He never does his counter dispels from X-Fight either, so that's, about 5,000 damage right there. Every time that Bartz does an X-Fight. Now ClassyBadger is also in the X-Fight fight. We're going to see a lot of Conjure Odin and also X-Fight. Let's see who gets through this fight first. They're neck and neck. Pretty surprising, really, to see both racers doing this fight at the same time. I don't think I've seen that in the couple other races that I watched of this tournament so far.
Did you happen to... Well, I think you were unavailable at the time, but the race that happened this afternoon finished within 3 minutes of each other. They were both in the Neo X Death fight at the same time.
I was able to watch the end of that from work. I was busy sort of just glancing over from time to time, and it looked like there was a lot of back and forth exchanging of the lead at the end, so it was quite an exciting finish. Wind Fox versus Rammstein, right?
Correct.
Alastair is through, has beaten Castle X Death. So they keep their slight lead.
Now I assume we're going to see the tool pass. We're going to see the tool pass check right off the bat on account that we have a hint that is on the path to the void.
Do we have another World 3 hint, do we not? Or is that the only... I could have sworn there was a second thing. Oh, Shrine page. I think you need to go to the Island Shrine to continue a hint that we got earlier. So I would definitely do Tool Pass first, and then maybe Island Shrine, because I think that is supposed to lead to the final, unless those two are on the same path, but I don't think they can be. I think those are two separate paths.
There's Badger done with X Death.
Very nice.
Lena's down for the count, but there's no experience bonus or anything in this location, so no hard.
Yeah,
no hard
that's a just win baby fight. Doesn't matter who the heck is standing at the end.
All right. Oh, they're going to do the shrine location first.
Interesting. I think I would have done Dual Pass just because it's so quick and it's a low hit point check, and it should be pretty easy.
Looks like ClassyBadger is looking for the key. There it is.
Hey, some more Requiem. Second time in the seed we see Requiem when you really don't see it much at all most of the time.
Both of them used exactly the way we described them for the two encounters.
Yep, we picked the encounters ahead of time where it would be useful. And here it is. That Fire 3 is also really nice.
Yep. Putting those undead to work.
Okay,
Golem
so ClassyBadger is taking Boko on a trip.
Oh.
Trip to Tool Pass.
There it is. It's kind of a confusing passage the first time you get through.
Yep, he's getting a little lost. Easy to do.
Yep.
Oh, keep going. There you go. That's the right way.
Right past tool, and then there we go.
Yeah, I noticed that he didn't stop to save, but honestly, this is a low enough hit point spot that the chances that it's a problem is very unlikely. You actually do this fight with only 2 characters in vanilla, so you've got 4 here. I mean, should be no big deal.
Yeah, Abductor is no problem at all. Unfortunately, no luck.
That was a very unlucky Odin roll because I don't think Abductor really has much in the way of anything to stop a true edge. Probably has like, I'll have to check his level. I want to guess. I would say he's maybe like level 30-ish. So it's basically just a low roll.
All right, and we are rewarded with a third tablet.
Level
Instant
22,
reward.
if I'm looking at the right one. Is that the, what did you say, fourth tablet?
A third tablet. Well,
Third
yeah,
tablet.
the tablet number 3. Deciding to take Boko back home instead of just warp sharding out.
Did he run all the way back? I was looking away.
He did.
Yeah, he probably didn't realize that you can get off the chocobo and take the warp shard or something.
Oh, that's all
now
right.
He's got even more practice on that route that he needs to take with Boko in the future.
Well, so Badger is following the pyramid page.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that this is the way to go, unless he's looking for more loot. It's quite possible that he didn't get the hint that said that he needed to. Well, no, he got the hint that said catapult was on the path. He may have just sort of forgotten that the catapult gave the shrine page, and he needs to continue to chase that hint down. But we also don't have the Mirage radar, and so you have the pyramid page. Maybe he's looking for a lot of loot, and the pyramid is the place that has a lot of loot. So
I believe, what, 27 chests in there?
Yeah, that's one that I have not
those-
even counted them all up. There's so many.
3 of those are monster in a box, though most of those monsters will be easily taken care of by the Conjure.
Yeah, and you can actually use a little bit of Requiem in here too against at least 2 of those monster in a box fights. 29 chests in the pyramid. That does sound right.
29? 29.
Yeah. A lot of people maybe would skip the basement, which only has a couple, and
Yeah,
do
minus the
everything
2 in the basement,
upstairs.
27. I was right all along.
It's kind of out of the way to go downstairs for 2 and then retrace your steps to go upstairs and get all
definitely.
the rest.
Ooh, Lena getting faxed over to the next dimension.
Gotta love the fax sound effect of X Zone. Fax Zone.
It's the fax zone.
Okay, so Carbuncle is down. Classy can enter the pyramid. To me, I have to put Alastair in the lead because not only are they going to a place we know that the racers have to go, they're also getting some loot on the way. Like the Island Shrine is full of loot too. So I do think that this is a turning point in the race. They were really close to each other the whole way up to this point. This decision seems to be key one so far.
Mm-hmm. They do seem to be in the lead right now. Classy
All
Badger
kinds of dancer gear, but I don't think we have a dancer.
walking around poisoned, unfortunately, hoping
Yeah,
that
those,
he doesn't encounter a monster in a box.
It's kind of hard to run around fast in the pyramid unless you have float or damage floor on, because you step on one of those spikes and the whole team is poisoned. Unfortunate. Have to deal with that, listen to it, look at it. It's a little bit painful all around.
Getting a
There's
little
a
nervous.
save point coming up though. You can just cabin and heal it, throw it away. As long as you don't get into a like nasty monster in the box fight first or something. Blue mage in the Island Shrine, always nice to see.
Especially
I
with
do recall
Big Guard
Blue
available.
Magic Big Guard, yep, in the Cruiser Castle. Not sure if Alastair hasn't necessarily grabbed it yet. Ooh, Mystic Knight in the pyramid is nice. Over on Classy's side.
Getting increasingly nervous. Oh, he's ClassyBadger being very lucky, not getting any monster in a box while he's walking around with 1 hit point. Yeah, Mystic Knight does bring that Flare Sword into play. So with that X-Magic, Chicken Knife, Flare Sword will generate a lot of damage.
Omniscient at the top of Island Shrine, not nice, but the save point is right before, so Alastair is just going to reset, change up his party setup for a better time against Omniscient, and it should be hopefully no problem. Got Magic Sword, pretty sure we've got Magic Sword mutes. One person can basically turn Omniscient into 0 threat. Lots of good loot that ClassyBadger is picking up in here in the pyramid, so as long as the boss goes smoothly, should be in decent shape after this. I think the real question is whether he will remember that he needs to go to Shrine.
Forgetting how to get out of there, which I've definitely done. The statues easily taken care of by Odin, or by using a soft on them.
Very nice. Another conjure. That conjure putting in serious work.
A Ragnarok. Unfortunately, cannot equip it on the Mimic. Only the Freelancer would be able to use it at this point, or a Knight.
Looks like Classy actually skipped a couple of the chests at the very end of the pyramid there, but well. Easy boss at the end of it.
Very quiet.
Yeah, the no music, perhaps. Right. That's what's happening right now.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely no sound other than the attacks. And the soothing sound of our voices.
This X-Fight Chicken Knife plus, what is it, Sage Staff combo or something? You don't see that too often.
Light Staff, I believe.
Oh, okay, yep.
A moment of silence for those wolves. Ifrit's Fire. I mean, at least that's an easy check to make.
We know it's probably not the right move. We know it's not the right move, but he might be just a little bit off, just missing that one key hint. Or he'll go to the Island Shrine, because he knows it's required next. I think he's looking for it now.
Yep.
Oh, what?
Oh, no, he's following the sub.
Oh, he's
heading over to the trench.
Now, we do have the trench page. Maybe he wants more hints. I think he missed the hint logic that he needs to go to the shrine, which is unfortunate because and we definitely had a heck of a race. I'm not saying it's over. All kinds of things could happen. Alastair could run into a wall, and Badger could come back. But at this point, he's putting himself further behind.
Then again, there's also good shopping at the trench location, so perhaps he'll be able to find something of value there.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'll find plenty of good stuff in here.
On Alastair's side, finally down with Omniscient.
Get a hint that will hopefully help him out. set him back on the right path.
And second
There
tablet.
It is. Ooh, my gosh.
All right. I would say at this point, Alastair is strongly in the lead. They know that the tool pass is on the path, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's the next location.
As I'm looking at our tracking, I could have sworn that Alastair had all 4 tablets at this point. Am I mistaken?
Nope, Alastair hasn't done the tool pass, as far as I'm aware.
All right.
They went
Well,
straight to the solitary shrine.
All right, so they do need to follow that hint. I mean, it's possible that confusion could happen and they might not do it. So that's the important thing that Alastair needs to do next. Let's see if they do that. You and I were a little confused when they did not go to do... Here he goes. All right, so it's Boko time.
Alright, just saying hello to the hole in the ground that used to be in the Tycoon. We've got ClassyBadger wandering through the trench page. Through the trench page, to the Great Trench. Level 5 Doom.
Level 5 Doom. I always like to see that. And you've already seen this antlion fight, but just to refresh your memory, it's Abductor. An easy win. You can doom this boss, among other things. I think Alastair is going to be excited when the 3rd tablet pops up. That is go mode.
And it's go mode for Alastair. So they'll probably do a bit of shopping, try to ensure that they've got enough gil to toss.
Yep, this is
They will not forget.
Be a little bit tight.
They will not forget to go back to the castle, to the sealed castle for their items, including their Phoenix down.
Yeah, and that low gold total, you kind of need all the free stuff you can get, even if you're not planning on using it, to sell it for money. These rings are worth a lot. You might not necessarily need them. Yeah, there's a Phoenix down in the sealed castle. We get a little bit of a womp. I think that was by far the worst spot. The others were pretty normal.
Yeah, the others were pretty standard, but it's pretty funny seeing some fairly abysmal stuff in those locations. Orc Tower holds the Falls page, and then Istri Falls holds the Mirage Radar.
Oh no, these hints are very not required locations, and they could send ClassyBadger searching. So this could be pretty rough if he follows either of those.
He's gonna finish this one.
Yeah, might as well finish it while you're here. But that means that he's not really aware that this place is not required either. It's a tough situation for him. And what happened, actually, I think now it might have been in your race yesterday that the other person going against you, is it Arios?
Ekir.
Ekir, sorry, just happened to miss one hint. And that was the difference, big difference in the race, because he didn't realize that he needed to go somewhere, and you did. And that was, oh, here you are, Ekir, sorry to Not calling you out or anything, just pointing out that it's really easy to miss one hint, one key hint.
Yep, and that was
can make a
the
really big
bracelet.
difference.
And sorry, Strizer, yeah, I should have probably thought about switching the audio for whenever the they were going through the lava. Though, are you suggesting that we switch it for the void? Alright.
A nice little break for Badger to possibly look over his hints again. He's got a couple minutes here to really examine where he thinks he should go next, and hopefully he'll catch the fact that Valcastle gave the shrine page, and Valcastle was on the path to the void, so he needs to go to the shrine.
Go-Go, of course, an easy fight as long as you know what to do, which is fairly clear because Go-Go tells you exactly what to do, which is to do exactly what they do, which is nothing. However, anybody coming into this game will just wonder why why is just standing there and then inevitably attack and be rewarded with an excessive amount of damage.
Yeah, Go-Go is, I think it's, even put you under a little bit more pressure in vanilla because he's at the Sunken Walls Tower location with a timer. And the strategy to beat him is to wait while that timer keeps ticking down, you know? So they really put the pressure on you, but, yeah, you gotta have faith in the instructions that he's giving you. Do nothing. Yeah, Biblos here shouldn't be too much of a problem. He's not heavy. He's weak to fire. Oh, I saw that Apanda fight, and it was brutal in that race earlier today. That was like the worst Apanda I've ever seen. So mean. Wind Slash is doing like 1,000 damage. That's nuts.
Alright.
You can mute a panda, but it actually doesn't stop Wind Slash. That's not a spell that cares about mute status. So it's really
Crystal
nasty.
Armor and the Slumber Sword from ClassyBadger. I will shift the audio over to Alastair so we can appreciate the sounds of the void. So just bear with me here.
We got a frog running around in the void here. Ooh, Freelancer. We already have Mimic too, but now we've got both if necessary. Absolutely, Vaughn. He's got some other nasty spells that you do want to try and block. It's just that darn Wind Slash that doesn't care. But counters with Tech, Drain, and Toad, I believe, so it's nice to shut down those counters completely.
ClassyBadger seems to be following the submarine key that they found within Exdeath's castle.
Well, we get to see where some of the other bosses are located then. We
Gargoyles.
know that this is not the path, but...
Oh, I expected something different. Something different for those gargoyles.
Well, with Golem up, you can just sort of do AoE stuff if you've got level 3 flare. Don't know if Alastair has that. That's nice because it doesn't split the damage.
Mm-hmm. And they could
nice
put them to
win.
sleep, including they are susceptible to death, to Doom, and Petrify. So Shoat and Doom. do good work. But if Alastair
Yes,
feels that
indeed.
they're rich enough to spend some of their gil in this place,
Just mentioning over on the other side that ClassyBadger made quick work of the Hear You plant down at the bottom of the Sunken Walls Tower, and it was just an Odin trimming the hedges. It was over. Ooh, going for Battle Castle, but going through the front gate. This door is locked unless he's shopping. So he's shopping instead. Okay, now Alastair needs to finish off this other gargoyle. It'll probably work out. You gotta be quick about it. There he goes. Got it.
right? Victory over those gargoyles. They're going to close the book back up, walk back out, have a bit of a rest before heading back in to unlock the other safe spot.
Now, if you were a racer, let's say you are Alastair, do you feel good about how the seed has gone? Do you feel like you're in the lead, or do you think it's close, or do you think you're behind?
I think for Alastair, I'd probably feel in the lead. They didn't go to a whole lot of locations that proved to be that didn't prove to be fruitful.
Yes, I agree. I think Alastair it's probably relatively confident that they are in the lead, or at least right with the other player.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been too much trouble along the way, so I'm just saying, in that situation, go right ahead back and save after you beat a boss, because you're in sort of don't take any unnecessary risks mode, because you think you're in a pretty good position.
Mm-hmm. Now,
So
my question is whether or not they're going to go to the final save spot in order to go back out and shop, because currently they do not have the money for Giltos strats.
True. Do they have perhaps enough magic to win another way? Like you could do some Giltos, some Leviathan, something like that. No, they just barely picked up Leviathan and don't necessarily have the summon power to use it, but no, Fire 3 Magic Lamp I don't think has been found. So
Got a Gilgamesh 4.
Right. I think that Alastair's probably looking for a little something to help the final fight here. Otherwise, it could be a relatively rough one. But if you do have guard, that alone can sort of get you through just about anything.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the question in that case would become whether you've got the other resources, like enough MP to win the final fight. Sorry, I was talking and I didn't even notice what happened over at the Odin location.
They have mix? They have access to a chemist, so they can they can learn mix.
At least one person has mix, if not two, I think, on Alastair's team. Pretty sure.
They actually
They mastered chemist on somebody.
Well, it looks like ClassyBadger's finally heading over to the shrine.
Alright, here we go.
So they'll be on the right path.
A little bit just of a blind guess.
Oh, it was just a... It was an Avis killer on the side of ClassyBadger.
Gilgamesh 4, by the way, is no fun in the Void. One of the more annoying bosses as well.
You know, we'll likely see it through to the end of the cutscene.
Yeah, that would be a little bit unfortunate because it takes longer, but
Mm-hmm.
This is be a tough spot to finish off quickly. Okay. Get to see some of this Greg Ford dialogue with the fake Excalibur, which you don't always see in the randomizer, so it's mostly just a lot of talking and wasting of time that we don't like to see, but if he gets to this point, you might as well just do nothing, leave him alone so he can get through it as quickly as possible. And for your troubles, you can get the collectible. There it is, the Excalibur, which we did ask Clear Tonic to rename so people don't mistake it for the real Excalibur. Oh, meanwhile, on ClassyBadger's side, he got the rare encounter monster in a box prototype instead of Machine Head. Prototype has a lot higher defense. It can be a little harder to kill. Slightly less hit points, but much higher defense. Look at that. Oof. Phoenix that did 91 damage. I believe both players have mix on at least one person, but I don't know the exact details. I know somebody mastered Chemist. As you can see, Classy has a Chemist active at the moment. So I guess the answer is that yes, they both have mix, but not on everyone, and hopefully that won't be too much of a problem going forward. Okay,
I wonder if they'll. Sorry, I wonder if they'll be depending on their mimic abilities entirely for that, which might be a problem since they won't be able to, well, mimic the life shield.
Right. Yep. When you're running with less than a full team of mixers and using mimic, things can sometimes get complicated. Your early TED buffing can be a bit tricky based on, things like team turn order and things like that usually we don't really want to think too much about. Shiva in the Void can be a bit rough.
Unfortunately, those commanders will not be taken out by Odin on account of Shiva being up.
You can take them out with Shoat individually, though, which is sort of a nice little strat.
Correct. Or if they had Slash, though, unfortunately, I don't believe they found it.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen Slash for anyone. You can master Samurai to learn Slash, but I think that was late enough in the run that we're not near that yet.
I suppose Doom is also an option, and there it is.
Absolutely, yep. The commanders have all kinds of vulnerabilities, so why not take advantage one way or another of them? Now Shiva's alone and a lot easier to deal with. Ooh, she did have enough power to take down Galuf. That's unfortunate.
The twin Fire 3s coming out. Certainly won't feel good for Shiva.
Now, I'm going to step away for just a moment because my cat is misbehaving, but I'll be right back.
It's classic cat. I'll hold the fort. ClassyBadger casting Break Blade on Ferris. I don't believe Omniscient is susceptible to Petrify, but Conjure being used. Unfortunately, Omniscient does reply with Reset. So it looks like ClassyBadger will reload to try to get a better party setup to combat Omniscient, while Alastair finished their battle and is returning to heal. They're on the last step before between them and X-Death. Alright,
Okay,
and at the Twintania.
Attention has been given.
Ooh, Antlion at the Twintania location, instantly taking Ferris out of the picture. Antlion is not a... doesn't have a lot to their attacks options, but it does hit very strong when found late game.
Don't see the sleep spell, but maybe it's up there, out of sight. That's one way to deal with Antlion. Gold helps as well, but what you really don't want to see is those sonic waves, just like that. All of a sudden, your level's cut in half, and it really hurts your damage.
Mm. Oh. Did I see this correctly? Oof. So it looks like ClassyBadger, after having a hard time with Omniscient, ended up leaving the shrine and going to the library instead.
He missed that, so he didn't complete the shrine.
No. It must have happened just as soon as you showed up. Didn't see Mute Blade on Classy and didn't purchase it. It's available fairly early on too, so that they'd have to go back and see those shops.
Yeah, it was in an early shop. It's one of those things you do not want to pass up when you see it, ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's 150 gil or something like that. It's an important tool to get. Yeah, they seem to only have the Break Blade.
Let's see. You could probably maybe get by if you've got a lot of good other spells, but Mute Blade just completely shuts down Omniscient to the point that trivializes the fight. It's just a question of how long it takes to win, not whether you will win or lose. So that's very unfortunate, because I expect that he didn't realize that it's required, and that he's sort of just searching around at this point for something useful.
For an answer, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Conjure Odin strat that Classy's been using heavily is not applicable against Omniscient, causing a reset.
Yes, indeed. You can do regular Odin in that case against him, but not Conjure Odin. Conjure plays by its own rules.
And Antlion's down.
Well, and that's at less than 2 hours. Alastair is probably going to try to take on Ed and Ned. pre-X-Def and Neo-X-Def, if you're not familiar with the nicknames.
Alright, so they use a cabin.
Levels are a little low, but doable.
Alright, so switching over to Mix and Black Magic.
Okay. I mean, this will work if, like I said, if you've got enough MP. At level 99, your spells hit quite hard. What else are we gonna go for? Got
I suppose.
Guard. Oh, I'm sorry, Mimic.
If you mimic, if you're mimicking magic, however, is that
Yes, it does not use MP.
does
so
not
you
consume
can try
MP?
to-
So
You can try to set that up. The problem is that unless you are very careful with your team's agility, and just over the course of the battle, sometimes the order gets to sort of some unfortunate spots where you can't mimic as often as you might like.
mm-hmm.
I mean, well, let's see. Alastair's going for it. They appear to think that they are all set and ready to go. So I'm a little concerned, but let's see.
We've got Badger, who
See
just
how the
got
plan works out.
revenge on Minotaurus for earlier.
Ah, no, that was from way back. So glad to see, glad to see a little revenge. Oh, and now we go up Walls Tower. Yeah, that was a hint. It's possible, like I said, that ClassyBadger didn't check that one key hint.
Hey, a
Some running
nice pair of
shoes.
running
Oh,
shoes.
Finally, we see some running shoes. I feel like it's the first of the. We'll see.
Cursed knife, cursed shield, not as bad as it sounds. The only curse about it is that it's got 0 evade.
Yeah, it's not going to help you block anything, but it gives a nice defense boost. So you can actually eat some hits without worrying quite as much. I'm a little, like I said, I'm a little worried about Alastair's fight here. I didn't look too carefully as to their setup. We are adjusting it as we speak here.
Thankfully, because that Thornlet would have been annoying.
I don't see a ton of power. I don't see some of the things that I typically like to see for this fight, but we'll see if they can pull it off.
Okay, they're not going back to shop. Now, I would have liked to see them go back and get the safe spot and get themselves some Aegis shields. It would have saved them a stress.
Yeah, these mimics can
Because...
or freelancers or whatever, can all wear Aegis shields, which would have blocked that white hole right there.
Unfortunately, none of them can use items. Oh, that's not true. They still have the samurai up there, so the samurai will be able to bring Ferris back up.
Quick and double haste. The quick spell in general, it's very MP expensive, but can help you recover from some of these rough situations.
Unfortunately, it's going to take 2 rounds from Bart's to bring Ferris back up.
Could have cast life instead of using a Phoenix down, but again, I'm not too sure about the MP restoration type of items on this team. You know, the Resurrection Nyx fills MP to max as well from the chemist, so that's another option if you run out.
And is that just that's a Phoenix down and a potion?
That's right. It's a really cheap and really amazing mix.
Fortunately, their mix user is currently stoned.
Yep, I think we're fixing that right now. Here you call check. the fleet boat fight.
Right? They're
ClassyBadger is showing off all the checks that you didn't get to see.
well, actually, I believe he's done this check before and failed. If I'm not,
Gosh.
I think
Could
Badger's
be.
going out for revenge.
Yeah, I think maybe he did this one way too early. Kinda went there pretty early.
Yes. Yeah, it was Shote.
And Shote is pretty rough, so I'm not surprised now that he did fail earlier.
But then again, I might be mixing it up as I've been watching the other tournament.
Yeah, it's easy to mix that stuff up, but what you say is vaguely familiar to me, that maybe someone did go to the fleet earlier and failed and is now back.
Oof.
So Alastair is definitely looking to do some mixing here. He's using Dragon Fang plus, I'll have to see what it was. I saw him use Dragon Fang with something.
Dragon
Okay,
Power.
just with like a potion. So that's 20 levels. Might as well use them. I think this is going to be a pretty easy Ted fight, but it's Ned that I'm worried about.
Mm-hmm.
Did haste everyone, right? So I think
Yes.
everyone's hasted. That's
But also
really
now Walled?
Yeah, Tree X-Step can use things like Flare and Holy, so having Wall isn't a terrible idea, but you can see it has already fallen off 3 people.
Ooh.
And Meteor is just sort of bad luck. You get bad timing at low hit points for Ted, and you get Meteor.
Oh.
This is just, a reset.
Yeah, getting the reset. Perhaps we'll go and make that shopping trip after all.
Yeah, I feel like Alastair could have beaten Ted without too much trouble and just got a little bit unlucky. The question is whether they think they can also beat Ned, or do they need to try and leave the void and get more. It looks like they are, to me, it looks like they're setting up to win the fight without leaving.
Yeah, they're equipping themselves with the to do the break blade to get the instant kill.
They do have summons for sure. They have Odin, they have Golem, they might even have Shote. I think they have Leviathan because that was found late in the void, but I don't know if they can use Leviathan. I don't know if they have anything above Summon 3. I kind of think that's the highest that they have.
They can definitely cast Odin.
They can. Okay, so they
can cast Odin now.
Summon 4, and that would that allows for Odin. I'm trying to think of what. I think you need Summon 5 to use Leviathan, which is kind of the summon that you want, maybe, for the Ned fight, would be Leviathan. Like, if you do, like, max level and elemental power to boost your water damage, you can do 7,000 damage to everything with Leviathan. So that's just some mixing that allows that. It's nice to do 7,000 to all of Ned's cards at once.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take very many Leviathans to win if you've got that set up. But unfortunately, I don't think that Alastair can use it. Could be wrong, though. They just haven't used summon all that much. Okay, it's 4. It's not 5. So
right.
We are
so
correct.
No Leviathan.
They don't really have a good AoE damaging summon.
No Sildra, no.
Yeah, if you had Sildra, that would actually be almost as good as Leviathan for the final fight, but unfortunately, they don't have that either. So it's going to be rough. It's going to be break blading the Almagest part and then individually trying to take out the other parts in whatever order they feel is best. I think it's going to be a long and difficult fight. But possible. I think it is doable. It might require a little bit of luck. You don't want to get medioed again, for example, and that's just kind of rough luck.
Yeah, it's too much time spent with Xdeath at low health. Oh, 2 Thornlets made their way on.
Oh, the optimize command strikes again. I can't stand it.
Yep.
Those Thornlets are providing good defense. It's just gonna hopefully it won't cause too many problems other than needing to heal every once in a while.
Ooh, White hole on Bart's. Luckily, the mixer is still around. Oh. Life did not work. Oh. So we're getting another reset.
I looked away. You can cast life on someone who's been white holds. That should work.
Maybe they targeted Lena by accident.
Maybe so, yeah. A mastered chemist learns this ability called Revive, which actually brings multiple people back all at once for no MP, but it's when you have mix, you just tend not to use any of those other chemist abilities.
Right.
I wouldn't necessarily argue in favor of using that Revive ability anyways, but it is a thing that exists. You're restricting yourself, doing some sort of challenge where you don't allow mix. The other chemist abilities are pretty cool. I know you're a big fan of drink.
Yeah, if you have access to hero potions and giant potions, it's a nice big old giant potions double your current and max HP, and hero potions are effectively like the Samson power. They are the Samson power mix applied to yourself.
I love those giant potions because they're super cheap. If you were trying to mix that up, it would cost you an elixir plus a dragon fang, I think, versus just buying them for like 110 gold. The drink is so much cheaper and nicer.
A few Windows sounds coming in from Alastair.
I see, that probably explains the lack of motion on their screen. To deal with these notifications sometimes, even if we don't want to. Badger showing everyone what is at Barrier Tower.
Fighting those red dragons, which are considered heavy.
Heavy and undead as well.
Heavy and undead, though not weak to fire.
It must have been a conjure, right? Where just Phoenix just came out because of bad
yes.
luck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
at a certain point, I tend to... I'd like to sort of abandon conjure because things like that inevitably pop up. But I have to say, you know, Classy got a lot of mileage out of it.
Definitely. And even then, if the only 2 summons that he has is is Odin and Phoenix, and that's a free resurrection with you know, full health, full MP. Right, Alastair going up to the void one last time. Well, I say one last time, sorry.
To our tracker
one more time.
Z-Man, who is taken off, but track of everything really that we needed to know up to this point. So thank you so much.
Much appreciated, Z-Man. Ooh, white hole going straight for Galuf.
Yes, it's painful to deal with white hole when you don't have protection against it. Ooh, a magic lamp is at the carrier tower. That's something at least that ClassyBadger could find useful.
Alright, Ferris
Hey,
life
there's a
shield.
life shield.
Yeah. We got one on Galuf, one on Ferris right now, so just 2 more life shields to go, and then we could start buffing.
Yeah, working on these protections and then working on the buffs, I think, would be the way to go. It's going to take a while, but
Though,
probably worth it, the safety.
though from what
of
I
it is
see,
worth
Lena is currently a freelancer now, no longer a mimic.
it. Uh-oh. I just saw the last Phoenix down used for that life shield. There's no more left.
Oh no.
You don't want to be in a situation of not having any Phoenix downs because basically you have no safety anymore. I mean, you've got the life spell on someone, maybe? If someone has white equipped.
I believe there is this, I was gonna say, I believe the Sage Staff is around.
Yes, I remember the Sage Staff being, I think it was in Kuza, and everybody on the team can equip it even if they aren't using it at the moment. So that is free infinite rays. Whoa.
Oh,
You know what just happened now?
Unfortunately cast haste.
But it was the mix plus X magic glitch, I think. After you've mixed, and then if you're using X magic in the same fight, it messes with your targeting. Your X magic targeting. So that is a bug that we've talked about a bit in the past, and I try to let people know about it because you don't want to be in this situation. Like you can exploit it to your own advantage and do multi-target things that are not normally multi-targetable. But what usually ends up happening is something like this, where you actually, it's a detriment to you, and you end up hurting yourself. So now X Step is hasted, and we probably don't have a way to dispel that. So Alastair is going to have it a little extra rough here.
Oof. Speaking
Vaughn,
of,
it's on the Wikia. If you look it up all online, Mix plus X Magic glitch. Also, if you go to my YouTube, I've made some videos about it, and I explain it and stuff, how to take advantage of it and stuff.
plug in the old YouTube.
It's one of these things that you don't really see it that often in vanilla because you might not get both of those things. Like a lot of people don't master Red Mage to get X Magic and use Mix in the same run. Like even when we do 4-job fiestas, it's pretty rare that you would have that combination. But in the randomizer, finding Mix and finding X Magic is not that rare. And we're trying to go fast and be really powerful, and so it actually comes up pretty often for our community, and so it's something to watch out for.
I guess I'm lucky I never encountered that before, but alright, the void begins to make a lot of noise.
Okay, well the tree is down, and it was hasted, but it doesn't matter, because it's gone now.
Just lower the volume a little bit, just to...
Yeah, Now, how long has Galuf been on his face? Is he done for the rest of this fight, or do we have a way to bring him back?
Well, if Alastair thinks about equipping that sage staff,
Yes, that's definitely one way he can bring him. They can bring him back. Not sure if that's plan or not. We'll have to watch and see. Classy got the steamship key. Was at Big Bridge. Sword is ready to go. That's good. Going with Carbuncle. Okay, there's definitely some spells that can come from the back. What you really want to see here is a reflected Delta attack onto the Almaguest part, killing it. That would be by far the best scenario. And Fire 3 against everything, which is, you know, split damage, so it's not super strong.
They already have the break blade. Oh, miss. That's unfortunate.
Here's the Delta attack. Let's go. Oh, hit a dummy target. Oh, you hate to see it. You want to see that. You want to see it hurt itself. But yeah, this team is in for some pain pretty soon here.
Hoping for a...
Classy neglected to follow hints to the island shrine. He's actually been to the island shrine. Now he's going back. Omniscient is the boss, and he had to reset out of that fight. So he has been to the correct place, was unable to overcome it, and now he's going back to try again. Yeah, this fight right here is very scary. If Big Guard is up, Almaguest isn't going to hurt that bad, but it is going to hurt. Oh wait, am I wrong? Did I miss? He took out, okay. Alastair took out the Almaguest part, so Almaguest is not happening.
Yep,
which is good.
With the help of the break blade.
And now we have arts with near max damage Gill Toss, which is really nice. You're only throwing away 15,000 gold per, well, probably a little bit less than that since it's not max damage, but roughly 15,000 gold per turn here. Not sure if they have enough gold to win purely with Gill Toss at this point or not. You don't happen to recall now, do you? How much gold
I feel like it was.
had?
I feel like it was in the 70,000 range.
All right, I don't think that's quite enough. I think you want like 90,000, unless they did do some damage early on with Fire 3, so maybe this will be just enough. It's going to be very tight. And you know, you can keep doing that Fire 3 damage and getting a little extra in there. That's saving you potentially, maybe, you know, over the course of the fight, maybe like saving you one Gill Toss and saving you some extra money. Alef sleeping through the fight, not contributing at all.
He's an old man.
Didn't quite make it to the end. Couldn't stay up late enough to save the world.
He just knows that he's not supposed to be there. Oh, I heard something explode. Oh, something else just died. And that's it.
That's GG.
That's GG for Alastair with an official time of 2:24:28.
Great. I was a little concerned. Those three characters pulled through.
And we do have a forfeit from ClassyBadger.
All right. Well, in that case, we could probably try and get them both in here to discuss the seed.
So, I'll just reach out to them. All right. Was a pretty great race. Another quick.
When you get a chance, maybe you can just stop the timer. Oh, you got the 224.28 already.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's written down manually. As far as I'm aware, I did forget to actually stop the timer though, so that's my bad. Pause.
No big deal.
So, wonder if I can actually change it manually. Also, 224.28. There you go. Oh. That does not let me change it.
Okay.
All right. So we're just waiting to see if they'll join us. Oh, they're in the post-racing room. Unfortunately, I do not have the ability to change it. Oh. And there's my voice.
Okay. Do they have access to
So we're just waiting.
Yeah, Alastair, where was the...
I remember the second tab.
Actually, there was solid...
Unfortunately, hold up a moment. We've got a lot of audio going on.
Second what?
And there's my voice.
Okay.
Congratulations to both of you.
Yeah. Ugh. God, that... I was terrified. I was looking for the dot done after I wiped to net X Death a bunch.
It was a rough final fight. You didn't have a whole lot of resources to get through it. I was a little worried for you, but you pulled through.
Yeah. Ugh.
And Classy, are you also with us?
I am, and I have to ask, where was the second tablet? Because I was looking everywhere.
You were there at
you were right there
when you stopped. It was
okay.
Omniscient at the shrine. Yeah.
So.
All right. Yeah, that's.
Was there Mute Blade anywhere? Was there Cure 2 or Cure 3 anywhere? Was there High Potions anywhere? Because I could not find anything.
A Mute Blade was in one of those early world shops, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was either in Tool or Karnak. Something like that very early on.
Somewhere in World 1, I pretty much grabbed it immediately.
And so I must have never checked that spot. Yeah, because normally if I see Mute Blade, I normally pick it up early. Or I just, like, saw it and it didn't register in my mind because I was just like, well, I guess for Omniscient, we're just going to spam Mute over and over and over again.
God. Yeah, Omniscient without Mute Spellblade is misery.
Yeah, it really is. And you also had a little bit of a hard time, it seems, finding the right place. There was a hint that you might have missed, which said that Castle was on the Path of the Void, and then it gave the shrine page. And so Alastair actually went pretty much right to every location that they needed to and had a pretty smooth trip through the seed.
Was it Flying Lanka? Because I had Flying Lanka with Path of Void, Catapult was Path of Void, Tool Pass was Path of Void, and Walt's Kingdom was Path of Void. And what got tricky for me is, trying to remember what I have, because I have a notepad where I try to keep track, but I got confused because, Walt's Kingdom gave Adamantite, which takes you up there. But then Catapult is also on Path of the Void, which is the first boss in the flying area. So I wasn't sure if, all three of those hints were pointing to one thing, or that the shrine page was a different check. Sometimes the hints can get a little tricky, when they're all pointing to multiple checks to the same area. So
absolutely. I mean, the hints and the logic of them is very, very difficult part of this randomizer. I was trying to write down the hints, and I knew from watching Bal Castle being on the path was a hint.
Yeah, I definitely know that part.
Yeah, and now I'm looking at my notes. I have Flying Lanka was Path of the Void dash and then Shrine question mark. So I think I got the Shrine page and then just wasn't looking at my notes and thinking, hey, I should probably go check that right away. So that's kind of partially on me for not having the best notes of knowing what I got at each location to really utilize my hints.
Yeah, that was basically the difference in the race because you both finished Exdef's Castle at almost the same exact time. In World 2 Exdef's Castle, it was extremely close, and then Alastair sort of went to the right checks in World 3, and you were
I knew about
sort of searching around a little more blindly. Yeah,
I knew about the Shrine page. Then for Tool Pass, it was just because the last seed I did, I had forgotten about Antline till the very end, so I was like, I'm not repeating that mistake. I'm just gonna go do it now before I forget.
Yeah,
and it turns out
we learned lessons from our old
and there was a
mistakes
hint
all the
that said,
time. Yep.
yeah, there was a hint that said Tool Pass was Path of Void, and
Yep.
I actually had to remember. I was like, is Tool Pass the same as Tool Carnal? Like, I did the Tool Carnal to at least to the ship. I was just like, I didn't get anything but an item here. Tool Pass. Where the heck is Tool Pass? I was like, oh, it must be the Antlion check.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the Torna Canal is the name of that.
Yeah.
Check. They're similar. Yeah, and pretty close together too.
Mm-hmm. But so was there cure, like higher level cure magic anywhere, or was that like? Because I couldn't find it.
Seeing
I
much
found
cure
a
magic.
Cure 2 somewhere because I had it in my X magic list.
Okay, because I was just like, man, I'm not finding anything for healing, which is making this kind of scary. But I was really happy to find the Conjure early, especially after I got like Odin, like super early in a chest. I was like, well, Conjure Odin is really good. And that's why I don't know if you were seeing, like, a couple times I'd pick up an Esper and I'd actually reset out because, like, I picked up Shiva and I was like, I don't want Shiva right now. I just want Odin to be able to conjure Odin over and over and over again. And it made so many bosses so easy.
You made extremely good use of that Conjure Odin. That was a big part of your strategy, and that had you going really well for all the way through the end of World 2. Yep.
Yeah. And Alastair chose to, passed up on purchasing Conjure when they were shopping. So you went with a completely different approach to the early game.
Alastair, I was wondering, what was your party looking like for Ted and Ned?
I ended up with I had Spellblade and Giltoss on Bart's. I had Mix on Ferris in black. Lena had Summon in black, and then Gluff had X Magic, Time, and blue.
Okay, so you didn't go the full Chemist, Samurai. I guess I can never remember the Samus Power Potion. I was wondering if you, because after I followed the Samurai Crystal and I had Chemist, I was like, okay, am I going to end up just going the Samurai Chemist strat where you just level up your Samurai and then Guild Toss everything to death? But as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, I wonder if he is going to take that same route because that makes the game go a lot quicker.
I mostly saved the Guild Tossing for Ned and also the stupid crystals.
There was a shortage of gold at the end, right, Alastair? Like, you didn't have enough gold to
it's like 70 some K, so because I had forgotten to do a last-minute shopping trip aside from cabins.
Yeah, so I was wondering whether or not you were going to try to get the last save point boss so you can go back out, take some shopping. It all depend on how you felt.
I keep forgetting that's actually a thing.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. That final boss in there gives you, for people who don't know, that final boss in there gives you a save point, but also a warp point in and out of the castle, so you don't have to run all the way through the void again. You can just warp to right there. So sometimes it's like, okay, am I running short on supplies? If yes, do I think I can get through that last boss to get that and in there? But yeah, that was a great race, Alastair. I completely blanked on that shrine page, and that just goes to show how important the hints are.
Oh yeah, hints are massive, I found.
Yep.
They are.
No,
They're
for sure.
really, really important to keep track of that, And Alastair also ran out of Phoenix Downs in the final fight.
Oh god, yeah.
The old man kind of slept through the latter half of it because he was done.
Were Phoenix Downs purchasable somewhere as well, too? Because I didn't see those either.
I feel like I saw some, because I'm pretty sure I bought a bunch in the very beginning, and then I just forgot to note down where they were.
Yeah, like I made sure to real quick note down that Kelb had the break blade and Kelb had soft, so I was like, all right, I need to remember that. But I thought I checked most, and like I saw high potion somewhere, but I forgot to write that down. That's the other thing I've realized when playing this randomizer is like I have a separate notepad up, even though like our tracker has like a hints thing on there. Like I still have a notepad where I write down like Kelb has this and this that I want to come back and buy. This town has this and this because there's so many towns to try to remember.
Oh yeah. I actually need to update my town Word document to actually separate all the shops out, because I just have it this as the town has this stuff, but not specifically which shop in the town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I end up running around like a headless chicken through all the shops.
Yeah, that's pretty common for me too.
It's definitely one of those randos that you've got to have some extra note-taking resources to help you get through, to help you remember where everything is. And there's potentially a pretty large number of things that you might want to write down where they're at.
See, Eliza, that's what I absolutely love about this randomizer too, is not just like having to keep notes of like this track stuff, but like you saw like all the different like combinations of abilities that you can get just because you get all these abilities just randomly and at kind of possibly early levels, is that you can get stuff like Conjure and Odin, or like even if I had found Conjure and Bahamut, like unless you really know like, oh, okay, well I've got this Bahamut, oh, there's Conjure, because I have a high level Esper and I only have one so far, that instantly makes that Conjure ability like vastly higher level of like purchase right away, simply because if you know how that interaction works. That's what I love. Like you start learning like all these very intricate small little things that by themselves normally, like Odin by itself without a high summon isn't that worthwhile, but as soon as you find Conjure and it's the only one you have, instantly it becomes like a top purchase kind of thing. So
yeah.
And I'll add on to that too, if you're playing vanilla, Conjure is practically useless in vanilla because you have to master Summoner to get it, and by that time you've already got a bunch of summons, so you can't sort of isolate that one that you want. But then in the rando, Conjure is like somewhat low tier, and you can just find it in a shop and do some wacky strat like you did.
Yeah. So if you're a runner who really likes like puzzle finding, like if you want, so granted, sometimes we do, especially in race settings, we will get to the point where you get to Ted and Ned and you're just like, okay, chemist, samurai, guild toss to make it as easy and as fast as possible. But if you are someone who likes to do like really complicated, be able to think about all these different interactions, Career Day is the randomizer for you.
Yep. And finding those special combinations of abilities early or late too also gives you certain strange behaviors as well, as Alastair experienced during the fight against Ted. You ended up accidentally casting haste.
Glitch. Yeah. Alastair, do you remember when the tree got hasted?
Yes.
Did you expect that to happen?
No, I'm assuming I accidentally triggered the mix X magic glitch.
Yes.
That's
exactly what happened, I think. Yeah. After you've mixed once in a fight, if you use X magic, it messes with your X magic targeting, and it tends to put both of your targets on the same target. So you probably like did a spell on Ted and then you wanted to haste someone on your team, but they both ended up going on to Ted.
Yeah, because like I did haste then Meteo.
Okay, yeah, in reverse order then. Yeah. Either way, it
both
actually
went to
uses
the last
target for the second spell for both spells. Yeah.
Interesting. Did not know that.
There's actually ways that you can take advantage of it, but unless you know that it's about to happen, usually it ends up hurting you.
Fair enough.
But you can do stuff like multi-target spells that are not multi-targetable. Like you can do like cast armor on one person and then cast cure on your entire team, and your entire team will get armored all at once. It's one way that you can exploit the bug.
Interesting. Well, either way, it was a great race. GG Alastair, you're heading off to the winner's bracket side of things. I myself will be going down to the loser's bracket, which is always full of sharks most of the time. So,
oh god.
And if I recall correctly, the winner of this match, being Alastair, is running against me next time.
Oh, really?
So next week, you and I, we'll be battling it out.
Yep, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll have
Let
to
me
look and see who
warn
I'm playing.
people,
Based on the ping, it looks like Akir.
Okay.
Ikir, however you say that name.
and that is who raced Mal yesterday.
Ah.
It's a
Well,
small tournament.
We say
not
small,
too
but we
many of
actually
us.
had, for this being our premier tournament for 1.0, we had 16 people, which is always
16
nice.
people's
So,
pretty good for, brand new 1.0 rando.
yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
we've had some
Everybody
pretty exceptional races
pulling their
too.
weight, for sure.
All right, guys.
If anyone
Well,
Sorry, I just wanted to warn people about that mix plus X magic glitch. There are certain spell combinations that can crash your game, so
Oh.
read up on it. There is a wiki article, just in case you don't want to.
mid-race, have your game crash.
Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened to Clear Tonic a while back when he was sort of doing a showcase stream
Oh.
of one of the newer releases of the randomizer. It was against Ned, and all of a sudden, boop, the game just
Oh.
crashed because he tried to use Holy. If you try and do the glitch with Holy, it'll crash your game.
I'm guessing this is vanilla glitch.
Yeah, it's in vanilla too. Yep. Maybe we could even fix it. I don't know. I don't know exactly why it happens.
Yeah, I know nothing about the programming side, so no idea.
Trust me, you look at some of these old Final Fantasy games, coding is like held together with like duct tape and shoestring and gum. So,
Looking at you, FF6 and 4.
yeah, 6 and 4 and 5 is kind of that same way too. That's why like you can't go into Fork Tower, the Galuf. The game just straight up cannot handle having Galuf there because he's supposed to die in order for you to even be there. So the game, Clear Tonic has tried, and he's like, yeah, it just can't happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
It makes sense because the game never expects you to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
True, and I mean, I love the SNES era games. I think that there is some of this is due to memory limitations. You know,
Oh,
they only
yeah.
have so much space to work with. So that they had to be creative to get around things, and then they didn't really imagine randomizers probably either.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sure they didn't imagine. This came out in 1992. So
Yeah,
I'm sure they
no.
were thinking, hey, almost close to 30 years later, or close to, not 30 years. No, wait,
Yeah,
yeah,
almost
30
30,
years later.
Yeah, it's almost
They're
30
like, hey, they're
years.
gonna randomize this game. So same goes for
What a
like Final
good time
Fantasy
was
6,
had.
because Final Fantasy 6 or 4 is even longer than 30 years then. So
That's right. Yep.
Actually, that's a good point. Is the Mimic sprite for Galuf custom, or is it actually in the game?
It's
A long time ago in the Discord, I'm pretty sure somebody, I don't remember who, made a sprite for us, for the randomizer specifically. And it's I think it's pretty basic. I think it's like
It's
Galuf's
recolored.
freelancer sprite
Yeah,
with
it's
a
just a
Yeah.
slight change in colors.
Oh.
Yeah.
like he has a blue jacket.
yeah.
So it was probably not, it wasn't a huge design or anything, but it was something that we needed for this randomizer so that you
Yeah.
wouldn't be invisible.
Yep. All right.
Alright.
Well, I'm going to go ahead. Again, GG Alastair for the amazing race.
Yep, thank you for the race.
I need to hop out of here, and I will let you two finish up the wrap up.
Yeah,
Perfect,
I'm
thank
gonna
you.
hop out of call too.
Great job, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, that was an exciting race. Very fun. It was very close for a long time, just until they split off in World 3. So I don't really have anything else to add. Dry. Anything else you want to mention about the race?
I was glad to hear, our racers were excited and they had fun and they had a good time, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's for sure. For sure. The randomizer sometimes is gonna treat you a little poorly, but if you keep playing through it and you keep having fun and enjoying yourself, that's what's important.
Let me also just say thanks to people who came, who are in chat. This is our third race of the day, so you guys, thanks to you as well for keeping up the energy for this tournament.
For sure. And again, to Karma and Windfox for organizing this tournament for us to participate. It's and for all of your patience as I was going through the growing pains of learning how to be a restreamer.
Yeah,
So
everybody, this was Mal's first restream. I'd say it went off pretty smooth.
Yeah, I felt pretty comfortable about it. Now I'll know to be a little ready on the mute button at the end to prevent all the echo from the Discord, but then the next race is going to be even better.
That's one of those things that you wouldn't anticipate on a first restream. So, but yeah, well done, Mal, and I bet you're going to get roped into a lot more restreaming as this tournament continues.
Perhaps. And we'll see, though I think I'm good for the next two races, which happen to be scheduled on Saturday. One being at 5 p.m. Actually, yeah, two of them on Saturday. One of them at 5 p.m. Between Freddy and Luigi Meister, and at 10 p.m. and this is Eastern time. Sorry, I probably should have specified. 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific. The battle between Karma and our very own Dryzalizer.
Oh yeah, maybe I should start to prepare for that.
Maybe you should. Well, I mean, this is preparing. You've been studying the future opposition.
Yeah, this is my style of preparation, just watching other people play the randomizer.
There don't seem to be any career day races scheduled for tomorrow. As for Randomania, there are some scheduled Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise and Dragon Warrior randomizer scheduled, but none today. So there's two on Saturday. If I click over, there's one on Sunday. You're right. At 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 7:30 a.m. Pacific, between François Zappi and HXC Jetters.
Oh, great. That's going to be a good one. They're all going to be good, and we can take a break tomorrow, I guess.
All right, so thanks everybody for stopping by. We're going to be calling it a night here, and I think we may be heading over to visit another event. So if you want to stick around, we'll make sure you're in somewhere safe.
Thanks, everyone. I had a good time.
You're good to cut.